What's going on, everybody? Peyton Milton here with Sifu Lester
Live and direct.
from Tai Chi 360.
Come on in, family. I know we kept you waiting for a couple minutes. Come on in.
Yeah, we did.
We right back at you, though. Right back at you.
Yep, we do not do delays. And if we do, we don't do obstacles. And if we do, then we'll figure it out from there.
That's it.
Every
Hey, so
single
group,
time.
how are y'all doing today? Have you been seeing all the awesome content that we've been putting out lately? Quite a bit, huh? We're going to keep it coming, family.
Yeah, we are. So
We're gonna keep it coming.
today we're focusing pretty heavily on the idea or notion of self-mastery.
Self-mastery.
And I would have to say that this is one of the topics where you absolutely cannot avoid the topic of inner alchemy. This seems to be a really popular notion amongst people who tend to take themselves more seriously than the average person. And it's funny because for the same reason they take themselves more seriously is also one of the reasons, at least in the Western culture, why they might not take themselves seriously from an inner alchemy standpoint.
That makes sense.
Doesn't it? It's unfortunate. Do you care to...
So I was going to say this. Why
Yeah.
don't we, just so that we have a lot of clarification right from the very beginning,
Yeah.
let's apply the Tai Chi principles, and
Nice.
we must go backwards to go forward.
Back to the
So-
Tai Chi olds?
Not quite yet, but we will get there.
Oh, okay, good.
Self-mastery, though.
Right, right.
You know, sometimes people, especially in the Tai Chi martial world, they have all these different understandings of what mastery is.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? So,
Actually, I got a nice quote that can hone in on exactly what you're talking
go
about.
ahead.
It's something that I came by at the Kung Fu retreat. It's showing your power over others is true strength. Showing power over yourself is true power. Pretty much hones in on what you were getting at. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
All right. Yeah.
Still yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that key word mastery means?
Right. Right.
Because if we don't know what that is, what are we talking about? Some people like probably saying, "What is self-mastery?" Somebody may think that self-mastery is instead of going to a school, a martial arts school or whatever, they study on their own and they become a master.
Oh.
And then some people say, "There's no such thing as a master."
Okay, yeah, this can definitely be a touchy subject. I see what you're saying.
Right.
You know, it's and I actually shared this. My little brother came to me one time and he said, I'm my own master, and I poo-pooed him hard too, way harder than I probably should have. But I poo-pooed him. I was like, that's ridiculous, you know? Why would you want to learn from yourself when you don't even know what you should be learning? You know, like, even if you're gonna be a master of yourself, you still need a teacher. You know, and unfortunately at the time I was harsh with him, but I had just kind of gone through a hard spot in my life that lasted a few years, and I had just come out of it. So I was very defensive against anything that was trying to bring me back.
So I like to think of actually self-mastery as being identical to the same term of self-realization. Like when you truly realize who you really are, you know what I'm saying? You have mastered the self, because
I met myself a couple times last week.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I shared that with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So group, have you ever thought about self-mastery and why is that important? And then how does that interplay with this topic that we've been talking about for so long, inner alchemy and Tai Chi?
Yeah, and
Complex.
what does
Very
it
complex.
mean? What does it mean to you personally, self-mastery? Because the
Right.
books change.
Right.
You know, your version of self-mastery is much different than Mr. Family Man. Got 3 kids who are less than 10 years old. I gotta work X amount of dollars per week into my budget somehow.
Right. So why would that be important to you, family?
Right.
Self-mastery. Why? How could you benefit from self-mastery?
And regardless of who you are, we all have the things that we know that we've been putting off, quote unquote. You know, even I have those things. I practically wake up and go to sleep training, and I still have things that I tell myself, ooh, I really got to get to that. The K1 Vortex, I haven't practiced that for days. I know, I haven't practiced it for days, and it's my new favorite thing, and I'm just like, oh yeah, well maybe I can think about it 30 days from now when I finish all this technical stuff that I've got to do the learning curve of. And you know, it's like, okay, yeah, that is true, but really I could go out there for like 20 minutes and just do it, and then come back and not have that thought for that 10 seconds instead.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Talking about self-mastery, who could benefit from self-mastery? I know everybody, but...
Right, right.
Everybody could.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I think I understand.
What kind of issues with self-mastery just embarking on? I call it a journey, first of all.
Right.
And I'm still on that journey.
Right.
You know, and it's a never-ending journey.
My biggest relationship with self-mastery is probably coming from the Kung Fu retreat. And I say that just because the Kung Fu retreat was my first introduction to the Eastern way of training to be a martial artist, which is they have a lot of martial arts based around proper body mechanics, very intricately cut concepts that you can fit inside of some regimen of training that equals some extraordinary result. But in order to achieve this cookie cutter result that is presented, you have to train 3 hours every single morning to recover the body in a fashion where it's able to train the other 6 hours that you have scheduled for the next day or two. So it's just a revolving door of training and then waking up and then training so that you can train more and not hurt yourself while you're training. And so that was really my first introductionary lesson course. That was my crash course on self-mastery. Training so hard that it goes against Western medicine because you have to let your muscles recover. We never got 2 days off. We never were unsore at the Kung Fu retreat.
So, Inner-Alchemy, this Inner-Alchemy we're talking about, there's a process.
Oh my gosh, so much, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were specifically doing Qigong geared towards building up the belt channel and opening up the meridians and stretching out the tendons to improve recovery and store up martial Qi.
So Qigong is dealing with what? For people who don't know
Yeah,
what Qigong
sure.
is.
Qigong is really centralized around working with the earth Qi, mixing the earth Qi with heaven Qi, and
So
then
that's using more of your
guiding it through the body.
imagination, visualization, breathing technique, or
I would have to say it's like the doorway towards Inner-Alchemy.
right. That's what I wanted to.
Yep.
Right. So Qigong basically is learning how to use the breath and movement together.
Yeah.
And there's various styles and systems of Qigong, and Qigong itself can be one of the very tools that is used in this self-mastery, self-realization system or process
Of Inner-Alchemy.
right of
Right.
Inner-Alchemy. So it,
Right.
it starts on a physical level. Of course, we're working all the levels together because you have to have a meditative state of mind. You know, you got to have the heart and the will.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
if you don't know how to achieve that meditative state of mind confidently, definitely practice some Qigong, because that's what Qigong gave to me, was a sure confidence in achieving them. I can sit down at will and breathe my way into a meditative state, but I meditated for 3 years before Qigong and was never able to put myself into a meditative state with confidence.
Why was that, you think? What
I think it has a lot to do with the body mechanics that a lot of people are lacking from their base knowledge of meditation. I think really what caused me to have the meditative state was I was no longer able to focus on my thoughts, the monkey mind, because I was standing up, moving, focusing on things. But simultaneously, I was increasing my oxygen levels, decreasing my CO2 levels, and breathing in ways that my body was not used to absorbing so much, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Stuff that makes my blood flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting a bigger, greater, fuller oxygen exchange.
Right.
That'll do it right there.
Right.
Breathing that fresh prana, that fresh chi.
Yeah. And
so let me grab this just because a lot of people actually may have seen something similar to this.
Yeah, nice.
So oftentimes when we speak of inner alchemy, some people will refer to something like this, at least as a type of picture or image that represents that, and that's what this is basically showing.
Hey, I got a question for you, Sifu.
Yeah.
Between these two, what do you call the middle Dantian?
Between the two?
Yeah.
Well, this is where I'm headed.
Nice.
If you look at the various systems, like this would be more representative of a yogic type system.
Ayurvedic, yeah.
Right. So you have the Hindu system, then you have the Eastern, like the Chinese system.
Right.
So they're looking at more Dantians. These are all what we call Dantians, or locations where the energy starts to accumulate and is housed there, like a storage center. These are various storage centers, right?
Yeah. I guess depending on what you want to look at it as, a reservoir, or
you can see a reservoir
or a battery.
Right. You could even call it that. Those are great descriptions, actually.
Nice.
Both because our body does function as a battery, right? See, but our alchemy system gets into how we go about gathering this energy there, how we go about retaining the energy there, because over time we have what we call leakages in our body, and it's a natural process. Now, if we're abusing our body, the process is sped up. But we can regenerate as well through the practices that we practice.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, we have different systems like yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong. See, they actually show more Dantians than we consider at all inside of our studies. So to be honest with you, I don't know what that one would be.
Well, I've never been keen on the chakra system personally. And the reason why I asked about these middle Dantians is because I'm familiar with some Chinese teachings that teach this is the middle Dantian, and I'm familiar, at least the one that I come from, Lingui method, we just call the middle Dantian the heart.
Right, that's what we call it as well.
But it's funny because this is where the mass of neurons is located in the stomach, which they've been calling the second brain lately.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
I call it the first brain.
You call it, oh, nice, that's really what it is.
You get that gut feeling?
Yeah.
That comes first before thought.
Right. Yeah, but that gut feeling, for whatever reason, appears here in the lower the upper part of the lower Dantian. For me, I usually get my gut feelings a little bit lower than this area. But I've actually been recently playing with calling both of them my middle Dantian, because.
Bear this in mind.
Yeah, thanks.
These are generalized locations, right? Because they're not a physical thing that you can go there and touch and put your hands on. They can't even pick these up with video imaging of any type.
No?
No.
Oh.
It's all energy.
Oh.
Yeah, they couldn't pick this Dantian up energetically and show you that. It's just an energy. It's remember, energy, man.
I thought they did prove that just recently with the meridians and the dye that flows through the meridian channels.
I don't think they show Dantians.
Oh, I think you're right. I don't think they do show Dantians. I think you're right.
Yeah, they show the meridians. So the meridians are like the pathways that the energy would actually, how it travels throughout the body.
Gotcha.
So
you're right for sure.
That.
Yeah.
But that was very recent too.
Yeah, that was very recent. Yeah.
Right. And in the future, they may show these.
I know, huh?
Because they do show our auric fields.
Right.
They have imagery that can show your auric field being projected outside of the body.
Right. I bet you there's a way.
The energy is just so fine.
Yeah.
That the imagery just haven't caught up with it yet.
Well, it's cool because you can actually train yourself to view the Dantian. I did it traditionally, I've started developing my observation of the Dantian through myself and my Qigong practice. But by doing that with myself, I'm able to look at it on other people now.
I was going to actually say that before the machines are able to start picking this up,
Yeah.
I think we have more human ability to do it than the machine.
We absolutely do. Yeah, that's no question about it.
Machines are trying to be like us.
Once I started viewing people's dantians, I was able to do a lot more other cool things, because if I saw somebody's dantien and it gave me some kind of hint of something else, I would go and look at some random spot and see the difference in quality comparative to somebody else who that thing didn't show up to me as. And now I'm sitting there learning just by looking at different people. I can see this person, look at their dantien, see their dantien reflects something about their right shoulder. That right shoulder looks extra busy.
So check this out.
Yeah.
So you just described what I would call being in tune with part of your real self. Those are natural, innate, meaning abilities that we were actually born with.
Yeah. Nice.
But due to social issues, all the stress, the food, the bad oxygen, the not enough sunshine, all of these things, our DNA doesn't function quite the same. But when we start training, we start to activate this DNA again. Some people are just more in tune than others. You know, that's just their ability. Right? Some people are more, what do they call it? What's this one word they like to use? Empaths.
Oh, right.
Right.
That's like
intuitive.
An emotional psychic. And that's like, intuitive is like a creational psychic. And
right. Those are real things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some people still have that, because a lot of the things that we deal with, good, worse, or bad, it's in our DNA from way back.
Yeah.
And our alchemy system teaches us how to waken our innate abilities back up, to go backwards again. So we must go backwards to go forward, right back in line again.
Yeah. Inner-Alchemy definitely takes you to a whole new level.
So Neigong. Neidong.
Oh, Neigong. Oh.
So what about the Neidong? So the Neidong, see, even if you've heard of some of this stuff, you may think of it more along the lines of TCM, right? Traditional Chinese medicine, which deals with dantians, meridians, and all this stuff. So bear in mind, the Neidong practices have actually been around long before TCM. All right, so TCM is kind of like based off of that. But remember, the reason for TCM is more along the lines of health, like having good health. But Neidong is about having great health, because remember, the Taoist brothers, they were practicing for immortality.
Right.
So they believed in immortality, but they also believed that through our training, once we're able to raise the energy up to the Shin, that we're able to actually accumulate enough energy in those dantians that once our physical body is laid to rest, that our energy body will continue to live on. You know, and that's what they're training for. So they're training for the afterlife.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And now how you participate in that afterlife depends on how much energy you actually have.
Yeah.
Are you going to be recycled, or are you going to be reincarnated?
Not to mention,
that's just their belief.
Even if you aren't training yourself to be an immortal, you should still never consider retiring from feeling good.
Having good health, remember.
And learning.
You're going to feel good every day, because when you feel good, you do good. When you do good, you feel good. It's just simultaneous.
And if you're always learning, then you're never closed off to ideas that are going to make your life even better.
So that's why it's a lifetime study, because it's a lifetime practice. You keep learning little bits and pieces about different parts of it, and it's so interesting that it's like you never want to stop learning, because you're learning about yourself or what you thought was yourself. Because over time, we start to realize that a lot of that stuff that I thought was myself is not even really myself. It was issues that I didn't even have to deal with. That's why I'm stressed. Right? You can let a lot of that go.
I didn't even hear you. What was that?
Not me, but
okay. Yeah, I didn't even hear that word.
No.
That word doesn't even exist to me anymore.
And you start understanding that you know, fear is not real.
Yeah.
All of that. It's like, just let that go.
Yeah, I was telling you about this earlier, how I flipped out on somebody for saying something to me in the wrong way. They said something about some virus. I don't even know what they said. I was just like,
that doesn't even.
Oh my gosh, what did you just say? What?
Yeah, you stepped in something?
What? What?
Yeah, that doesn't exist in my world.
No.
Period, family. Because back to Tai Chi principle again. Everything comes from nothing. So the minute that you even project that idea, you start putting more energy into it. It creates a vibration. because you already set the frequency with the thought. So the thought is the frequency.
Right.
Then you feed it more and more thought. Now it starts to get to vibrate. Now it starts to becoming real. Now you're manifesting. You are a magical person for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you've created a disaster.
And do not allow other people's words to become yours.
I cut them down at the door. I hit them like a fullback.
Yeah.
I run them over right at the door because I don't allow that, because that's a sign of weakness.
Right.
And we don't do weakness over here.
Nah.
Period.
Nah. 7 days is what?
It's all about the strong.
The strong. Oh, 7 days is a strong now?
All about the strong.
Ah, okay.
So basically, if you're looking to improve your life, and most of us are somehow, we're not so content. I don't care what it is.
If you're here watching this right now, we can pretty much guarantee that you're doing awesome, because you obviously care about yourself enough.
For sure. That's for sure.
To be putting in the time here.
That's for sure. So this Nadon, or Inner-Alchemy, that seemed to be the buzzword. This subject or topic, it can seem rather complex, and it can also seem to be kind of esoteric. Esoteric just means that you haven't really understood it yet. But it can also be very simple if you stick with the way that it's offered. You went to the Kung Fu retreat, right?
Yeah.
You started doing the physical exercise. That's working with the lower Dantian. That's the first level, right? The physical stuff, learning the form, learning all of the movements, all physical. Soon you learn how to still yourself. You know, everything comes from nothing. We do the mindfulness meditation, right? Sinking the mind to the Dantian. So now we're working the lower as well as the upper. Now, how do people actually not accumulate enough energy in the lower Dantian?
Oh.
And when does it actually begin? How about that?
Oh, man.
I'm going back to something you're probably not thinking about.
Yeah, probably. I can just say this much. I mean, it took me a year before it took me a year before it took me a year to really feel like... It took me a year to notice that I had gone through some intense changes.
Well, think about this first. Take it way back. Remember, we have to go backwards to go forward. So let's take it back to not prenatal, but postnatal.
Okay.
So after birth, up until about the age of 7.5, 8 years old, right? We're breathing like this. Especially inside the womb. Now, this is prenatal. Inside the womb, we have an umbilical cord here going into the placenta, right?
Right.
Connected to our mom. We're breathing like this. Why?
Because we got to pump.
Right. We're creating a siphon.
Yeah, we got to pump all those nutrients in.
But
that's why it's called embryonic breathing.
Also the air. So we're not breathing here. Everything is coming here. But the moment that we started getting a little stressed out around the age of 7 or 8, yeah, they get stressed out. Even before that. But this is when the breathing starts to change. The belly no longer begins to do this anymore. The breath starts coming up a little bit higher, So what do we start with? We start with learning how to breathe correctly. Learning how to go back to the belly breathing again.
Yeah.
Using the diaphragmatic breathing. We know the benefits of that.
Yeah.
Health is wealth. We're building robust health just with the breath alone. Remember the nostril breathing. Why do we breathe with the nose, right?
Right.
So many things. So now we're breathing through the nose. What happens with that? What does that help create when that air goes through the nasopharynx?
I mean, once you're finally able to embryonically breathe through the nose, inhale and exhale, because exhaling through the nose with an embryonic breath, not the easiest thing until you practice it a little bit. But it increases the nitric oxide production in the body when you're breathing solely through the nose.
Exactly, that's the big one. I wonder if soul groups here, they could get a little...
Oh, we got at least a few.
Oh, yeah, soul group is here, bro. Hey, soul
good.
group.
Oh,
soul
good.
group. Check this out. Let's take a couple breaths with soul group, just like that.
All right.
Focus on some deep diaphragmatic breathing. The Ming Men. As you exhale, bring the Ming Men in towards the Dantian. Remember that back gate back there we talked about? Think of it opening and closing. Right. Now add this to it. No force, no sound, silent breathing. Also, the Huyen and the perineum. as you inhale, a slight tucking up, and then as you exhale, a slight release. But don't overdo the tucking in, because if you pull it too hard, the energy is going to stagnate there. So it's just a slight pull in. Follow along, family, and take a few breaths and see how we feel. And if you have any questions, type it in the chat. Type it in the chat. We're getting right into it. We're starting with breathing. You know we do the counting the breath method. What are we doing this meditation every 5:45 a.m.? Every 5:45 a.m. We're meeting on Google Meets. Come and do some training with us, family. At least the meditation and the deep breathing. Yeah, forget about how beautiful your six-pack is. This is the time to let that belly inflate.
Oh yeah.
Inflate fully. Yes. Let it get large and small. We're talking about taking in oxygen and nutrients. All the way in, and then now as you go out, there you go. And don't forget about the Huyen and the perineum.
Oh, thank you.
Perineum. Same time. Same time, my brother. Feel the Ming Man. And this is how you want to be breathing, family. That chest breathing, if you're chest breathing, you're headed down the wrong road, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Because that's a sign of sickness right there. Look at people when they're sick, they're breathing from their mouth.
Yeah, it gets intense. I can have a six-pack if I go running for 20 minutes, and then if I breathe 3 times, then I've got a really big six-pack.
A catch pack. A
Yeah.
cabbage patch.
A cabbage patch? Oh, nice. There you go. Yeah, some cauliflower bumps. Yeah.
Swallowed a pumpkin.
Something like that. Yeah, damn near.
So, hey, family, let me ask you this. Have you heard of the 3 treasures? Because that's a self-realization, self-mastery system right there. 3 treasures. Talking about the Qi, talking about the Jing and the Shen. That's exactly what that is. So you just asked about these different Dantians, right? So what they got? 1, 2, 3. They have 7 here.
That's 7. Yeah, we do 5 in the Chinese system.
We're only thinking on 3, but also the throat chakra is important, but we don't put much emphasis on it.
Right. It's an important piece to the energetic anatomy, needless to say. I don't really think of it as a place where we store energy.
No,
though.
it's not. You're right.
Right. And so
they have it highlighted here, but they also have the pineal and the bivalve.
I guess you might as well be storing it there if you never stop talking.
That's for true.
I guess.
Because we can also lose qi through our mouth from talking too much.
Oh yeah.
All right. How else can we lose qi?
The quality of words that we speak.
Oh wow.
Definitely.
That's big.
Yeah. No, I went there. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, words have energy.
Yeah.
Every word that we put out, I do my best. I'm always training myself. That's part of my training, to speak positively. If you're not speaking positivity, I mean, you're planting negative seeds.
I think I got you off track, Sifu. Forgive me for that.
I was just asking. No, I just asked one simple question.
Oh, okay.
I was saying, how else can we actually lose our qi? And it happens naturally over time as we get older. And I talked about within the system, we can actually rejuvenate and replenish, and we can slow down the aging process. That's why we do the Inner-Alchemy.
Right.
So how else is this energy actually lost from these different Dantians? How does it dissipate? How does it go away? What keeps it from being abundant? What keeps it from accumulating?
I mean, I can say that, for people who have that that propensity for being really nice and often draw people to you that take advantage of you, I think that a lot of us allow our qi to be taken by others by letting them do that to us, because there's a balance, and this is where it gets really touchy. There's a balance though on how to not let it negatively affect you, and not let it happen at the same time, and not let it negatively affect that other person either. So it's like taking complete but invisible control over the positivity in every situation.
Oh, definitely. So to me, that type of individual will be what I would call an energy vampire.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's all types of energy vampires.
To be real blunt about it, yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what I call 'em.
Some do it knowingly,
And a lot do it unknowingly.
Unknowingly,
yeah.
it's like, and they're the worst.
Kind of conditioned to be that way
The
here.
unknowing ones, they're very annoying, and I'm like, oh my god, they don't even know it.
They think it's like some mannerism or etiquette that we have here in the Western United States. Sorry, not the West, in the United States, in the Western world.
Right.
That if you're not nice, then you're mean. And if you're not nice, then you're not letting them get what they want. And if you're mean, then they're going to squeeze you on that end instead. So it's like, there's almost no winning with a lot of people.
Right. So it's all about the energy. And in the Eastern Chinese system, we call it qi. I think the yogas call it prana.
Right.
And there may be some other names for it as well, I'm sure.
Energy, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just energy, you know, it's just that bioelectrical energy, just like you said earlier. We are batteries.
Right.
All right, we got palm points to energize, we got them on the bottom of our feet, we got them all in here.
Yep.
So things that actually influence those are things such as, in today's environment, stress. That's a big one. You know, stress kills people, but why? What does stress do to our body on a cellular level? We said that we are cells, right? So stress actually causes the body to create more free radicals. So when we have free radicals and our, what is it called? What do we get from vitamin C? Vitamin C is an antioxidant.
Oh, okay.
So when your antioxidants and your free radicals are out of balance, that leaves more free radicals floating around out there looking for something to attach onto. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that free radical may go and grab your oxygen.
Oh.
Right. So what happens now? That has been oxidized. So you can think of that being oxidized. Think of a battery when it builds up the corrosion.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So now that free radical has turned into oxidation, which is known as being like an oxidative type of stress.
So corrosion in our body.
Basically on the cell, because every cellular exchange or the metabolism that takes place between cells creates some type of byproduct.
As soon as you start talking about that, I want to breathe deeper.
So think about it. When you burn gasoline in your car, you have a byproduct, right? Even your spark plugs build up corrosion. It's just energy exchange. Well, our cells do the same thing. So when we're stressed out, our body is going to have more of that taking place. So then you get oxidative stress, which causes oxidative damages, which leads to high blood pressure, which leads to stroke, heart disease,
susceptibility.
All these things, COPD, is just your whole body starts breaking apart because of that. Now, once again, stress is in the lower dantian. So that's what we're talking about with self-mastery. So self-mastery would also include dietary choices, things that we consume, things that we listen to.
Right.
Things
Exercising.
that we look at.
Exercising the awarenesses, Sifu?
You must exercise. That's another one. Lack of physical exercise.
Lack
of movement.
Lack of
Conforming to society's new way of doing nothing.
And acting like
it's basically against life.
Only muscles can be developed.
Wow.
It's like, man, the brain develops like a muscle too.
I never thought about it like that. That's so true.
Yeah.
Exercise your brain, family. Even that, because that's going to oxidize.
Especially like, there are so many aspects of the same exercise. For example, listening. There's this Qigong form that I introduced good brother Ali to, 3 levels. You pick up the earth Qi like a sheet. You listen to external noises. And part of this listening to external noises is actually a hearing exercise.
Yeah.
Where you are listening to every noise, saying which direction it's coming from, what you think it is, and then looking for more noises until you start running around the same list in your head. And then once you get to like 6, 7 noises, your brain starts to tune out all the other noises, which is why the exercise is designed to have you seeking them out. So your brain gets on this autopilot of looking for more noises until it's gone through so many physical noises. There are no more physical noises to look for, but you've already put your brain on track to search for more noises. So now, all of a sudden, you start hearing noises that aren't even physical. And then And then your mind is blown because a non-physical noise.
Well, I could get it, but I'm also sure that you must approach this the right way with the right teacher, because if you go about this in a yang fashion, it could run you crazy. But if you do it like Brother Ollie does it, he's so yinned out because he has sunken his chi or his mind, he's sunken down into the lower dantian, where it's not like, but it's just laid back.
Yeah.
Like today, I snuck up on him. I thought I snuck up on him. He was sitting there training, and I was like, I don't want to bother him. And then I was like peeping around the corner, and he jumps up. He's like, I knew you were over there. I even knew what color clothes you had on. And I came from a complete other direction just to throw him off.
He's been practicing this and telling me that his remote viewing powers or capabilities are coming back.
Right, so check this out.
Yeah.
So there's some studies out there actually to substantiate what I'm saying right now. What is it called? Alzheimer's, when people start to lose their brain function or whatever.
Yeah.
Losing memory.
They start to exist only in memories or something like that, is Alzheimer's.
Right, so we call the brain the mud pellet, right? Simply because if you think about inside of the skull, it's dark in there. It's all darkness. So we just talk about the body functioning as a battery, basically cells. So we have the sun represents fire or heat, right? So the top of the body is representing heat, and then the lower earth is representing yang, yin yang, so water, right? So if we don't have enough brain activity, the brain begins to get too much yin, so it slows down basically. So much yin has have accumulated. So by exercising the brain like that, the synapses are they're firing off. So now you're working on raising your shin up now, and that's what he's working on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Real interesting. Once again, Inner-Alchemy, but at a much higher level.
Yeah,
and
right.
you got to work down here first to get this.
I guess you could even tie Inner-Alchemy into just training with your opposite hand.
It could be tied in with anything.
Really?
Once you know
the concept.
Right. You just apply it to what you're doing.
And that's true.
And most of the times it's funny. It just happens naturally. You look up, you're applying it to everything. It's like,
yeah, that's true. Super true.
Yeah, you can wash the dishes with your knees bent, slightly bent. You don't have to be in a full-blown horse stance.
Right.
But you can make sure that you're standing erect. You're not leaning on the countertop. You have a straight spine. How do you take your practice into your everyday life?
I was gonna just say, you train yourself to have the proper posture or body mechanics while you're doing some simple task like brushing your teeth.
Playing a video game.
I used to try to do that.
You can at least have to do it.
Man, I tried that for a long time, and I said tried, Sifu. I did. I'm sorry.
Failed, huh?
Oh, I failed hard. Because I would sit there and I would make myself do that, and then I'd get super involved. Maybe 10 minutes would go by.
So most people are getting drawn in, and this is a big problem. Chin out. We should have the chin in so we can relax the chest and relax the pressure in the back of the neck. So having the correct posture.
Yeah.
You see how straight and aligned this person is? That erects their spine. Simple training. Most people are busy doing nothing, like you said.
Yeah.
You fell out of it real quick. How long did the practice last for you?
Oh man, if I started playing video games again today, I would fall right back into failing every single day.
It just happens. It's like an automatic
response. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing it for probably years at this point. Every single time I'm sitting down doing anything, I've been training myself. Like I used to train myself to do it while I was watching Netflix or playing my video games on my computer back at my parents' house. Just like I would train myself all the time to do all these things, and then catch myself failing all the time, every single time, and then going back into doing it so much that I would choose whether or not, before I sat down, whether or not I was going to care if I had failed.
Right.
It's like, all right, well, I'm not going to do that this time.
So stop watching the news.
And if you are, then sit upright. Oh yeah, we don't watch the news anymore, huh? We only watch the olds.
We don't watch the news, you get it?
Yeah, the newspaper.
The newspaper.
The newspaper.
The newspaper.
Yeah.
We don't watch the newspaper.
No.
Gotta get up out of those news.
Yeah.
So think about this too, family. If you are watching the news and it's all that negativity, because they don't show us anything positive. They don't.
No.
I don't watch it for that reason alone. Subconsciously, our mind is starting to pick up all of that trauma and emotion as being real, as if it's being yours.
Right.
No matter what you say consciously, oh, that's not me. Subconsciously, your mind is saying, I'm getting shot, I'm running, I'm scared. Your subconscious mind cannot decide if it's real or fake.
And then you've got the flip side of it where people like to project their problems outwardly. You know, that's just a really common psychological thing for anybody to do who isn't receiving the type of attention that they need. They want to hold other people accountable to these same preconceived notions that
I didn't do that.
That hasn't even been proven to the person who's trying to hold the other person.
I didn't do that.
Right. I'm above that. Oh, I would never do that to somebody, which is another.
I used to use that all the time. I know. That's why I said it. I can hear myself saying it. I didn't do that.
Right.
And my mom be like, yes, you did.
Yeah.
Before you can even finish, she's like, yes, you did.
I'm sitting here like I'm exempt from this entire thing. At least that's how I'm being perceived, I'm sure. But that is not the case at all either. You know, I don't think anybody here is exempt from any ramification of all of these different shades of
lower
grays.
Dantian, man. We're all human. So when I talk about lower Dantian, these are dealing with humanity. When I say humanity, I'm talking about the five senses. We're all subject to that inside of this, but we're much more than that. See, now that's where the alchemy takes us a little deeper. We get to realize that we're not just all flesh and bones. We're more than flesh or bones. We actually have three bodies. We have a spiritual body as well. There's a conscious body as well. So how do we go about being consciously involved in all three bodies? And then we can grow and develop, and our level of consciousness will rise. And then we'll start to perceive life completely different. But most people, including myself, because I'm still here, we still have a high fight or flight response. That's on autopilot.
Yeah, it really is.
Autopilot.
It really is, yeah. And you know, I'm coming across more and more people that they share this same story with me. They've known that they were energetically gifted.
I need more money.
But then they don't know how to use it, so they're running around with these energetic gifts and they're using it to basically like to react negatively towards people that overstep some boundaries that they may or may not be aware of that they've overstepped in the first place. And then you've got even more people that are promoting this whole, you know, idea of doing it intentionally to get what you want. Stepping on people's toes.
That's true.
You know, bark, bark, bark until you want to leave so bad that you give me what I want.
That's true. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't realize that that's being done. And it's actually being done as a type of sorcery is being projected all over humanity.
Yeah.
People are being controlled that way. They're being pushed down. They're being put into cells, confined, restricted. No human contact. Don't you touch anybody.
Yeah.
Stay in your cell.
You don't want to look at me.
Well, the cells that I'm familiar with, they're circular and they communicate with each other. They're not in a prison. They're in a prism, which is this body, because we are light.
Right. Where we come from, it comes around like a hula hoop.
All the way around.
All the way around?
Look.
Really fast,
from
too.
Nowhere.
Unusually quickly.
Just like that. It's all mental.
Wow.
And then you begin to learn that. It's all mental? Really? They didn't teach us this in school.
Did we just teach things?
They did not
without
tell
even...
us this in school.
No.
They did not say, Peyton Milton, this is all mental and you are wonderful.
No, but you know what's funny?
They didn't bother to say any of that.
They asked me what I wanted to be, and I told them I wanted to be a psychic father.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, that got me into a real spot. Peyton, I don't think you understand what the question meant. What is there to not understand? I'm thinking as a 10-year-old.
To be a what, Peyton Milton?
Yeah.
A psychic what?
Yeah, I want to be a psychic dad. I don't think you understood the question. I think you want to put down firefighter or a cop or something. And I'm like, I don't think there's anything to misunderstand. You're asking me what I want to be when I grow up. I told you. Yeah.
Well, you got to take it easy, too. You got to think about the teacher, man. Especially, man, she had no idea, man. I love teachers.
Oh, he loved me.
But, you know, they were trained to do a thing a certain way, and you came way out of the box with them on that.
Oh, yeah, dude.
They wanted you to graduate from school. They wanted you to go to college and get a huge-ass college bill. and they wanted you to hopefully find a job that may not ever exist again in your lifetime. That's what the kids are facing now. All these high-level degrees, they can't get a job.
They're overqualified.
They're overqualified.
I've heard that.
But they never found out who they truly are. They never invested in themselves.
Oh.
Not in themselves.
This other girl.
They've been educated.
You know what she said?
So group.
Yeah. I'll tell you what she said. The teacher asked her, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" She gets this prime prissy attitude. "Well, Eric Clapton from the Beatles.
Oh no.
He said he wants to be happy when he grows up." And I'm like, damn, I should have said that.
That was nice.
Yeah.
To be happy.
I should have said that.
How simple is that, to be happy?
That was a good one, Brianna. Nice one.
So what can we do, I'm going to say it just like this, to survive in today's society?
Be happy.
Be happy.
Yeah,
and
prioritize
would you say that's part of self-realization, that we are truly happy?
Oh,
we are happy?
That is, you know what? I think that is...
You're awesome.
I think it's thank you. I think it's an inevitable part of self-realization is to realize that if you're going to reap the benefits of happiness, you must exude the benefits of happiness. And how can you do that if you aren't creating happiness where you see the opportunity presented?
That's deep. Can I ring the bell on that
Please do.
Yeah, man. Could you say that one more time?
Yeah, sure. How can you possibly expect to benefit from happiness if you cannot exude happiness and create it where you see you are given the opportunity to create the happiness?
Ooh, I think we should wrap up on that one.
Oh, I know. That was a mouthful and a half, and I got it twice out there.
One.
All right,
hey,
well,
so group.
You heard what you heard. Yep. Peace.
We love
Peace,
you guys.
everybody.
Come on back. We right back at you.
Yeah.
Wow. Where'd
Yeah,
that come from? That was a home run.
That was good.
Where in the heck did you